Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. Today in this video we are going to discuss a very important short story of the Treasure Trove workbook. So and the name of the chapter is Chief Seattle's speech. So we are going to discuss a complete explanation of this. So let's start. Chief Seattle was a leader of a native tribe in the Washington Territory in the 19th century. He belonged to the Squamish tribe. He was a very prominent figure among his people. Moreover, the city of Seattle in Washington in the United States of America is named after Chief Seattle. Chief Seattle remarks that despite facing the usual existential crisis, God has blessed his tribe and his land for ages. But the future is uncertain. He is doubtful because he has received greetings from the white chief who has offered them a land settlement treaty. Native Americans can be easily outnumbered by the whites. The whites are like the grass in the prairies, whereas Chief Seattle's tribe is like the standing trees on a storm struck land. Chief Seattle says that the white chief has sent his wishes and asked for friendship, but he also wishes to buy their land in return. Native Americans, also addressed as Red Indians, are offered another place for their settlement. This offer seems wise, but Seattle thinks that the whites do not understand that their place holds more importance to them than being just a piece of land. Once upon a time, the number of people in the Squamish tribe was plenty. They eventually became less as a result of conflicts and wars. He justifies the war fought by his men by saying that the impulsive nature of the youth is intolerant towards injustice. Their aggression is uncontrollable by old men and women. They are ready to sacrifice their lives for a just purpose. It is an accomplishment for them if they win at the cost of their lives. But the parents who lose their child gain nothing from this accomplishment. The value of their child's life is more than the purpose for them. Seattle realizes this part and therefore thinks that the proposal sent by White Chief is wise and can be pondered over without any war. Chief Seattle then speaks about George Washington. He addresses him as good father, who will protect the natives if they accept the Treaty of Land. The rivalry between the other native tribes, namely the Haidas and Shimsians, is a matter of worry for the Squamish tribe. These tribes will not harm the natives if the Americans protect them. Only then Seattle would say that George Washington is fatherly to the natives too. Seattle doesn't agree that the God of the natives and colonizers is the same. The God of the whites protects them and leads them well. However, he is partial towards the whites and has forsaken his red children. He says so as the whites are dwelling and increasing in number, whereas the natives are reducing in number and will soon become history. The religion of the whites and the whites, the religion of the natives and the whites are not the same too. They are two distinct races with separate origins and separate destinies. Because of these differences, Seattle remarks that the whites and the natives cannot be brothers. Chief Seattle acclaims that there is sacredness associated not only with the ashes of their ancestors but also with the land which is their resting place. This is not the same case as the whites wander far from their ancestors' grave. The natives are very closely associated with the dreams of the men. The ancestors of the whites do not love them after death, but the ancestors of the native men do not forget their children and the land after death. They keep on loving its valleys, its rivers, its magnificent mountains, and its lakes. The future of the Reds is not very bright. Not a single star of hope hovers above their horizon. Grim fate follows them. Seattle has compared their situation to a wounded dove which is being hunted down and the hunter is approaching it. Their doom is a few years away. The ultimate decay of the whites also awaits them. However, it is distant. The end is inevitable for both red and white men, but both share a common destiny. As proceeds with his speech, he announces that the proposition offered to them seems wise, practically, and they will ponder over it. If they happen to accept it, then they have a condition that they should never be stopped from visiting their land and tombs of their ancestors, family, or friends. Everything about their land, be it living or dead, including the dust and stone, is connected to the lives of the native man and responds to him in its natural way. Their land is sacred and pure. Seattle ends his speech by saying that the white man will never be alone. Even when the last native would have perished, the dead will be present and continue to bless the place. He says that these shores will swim with the invisible dead. He requests the whites to treat the dead with respect as they are not powerless. Their ancestors who have died still love and rejoice in their land. Lastly, he mentions that there is no death but only a change of worlds. This speech displays Red Indian attachment to their land, clash of civilians, the difference of cultures of the whites and the Native Americans, the fading native tribe, and the environmental concerns of the native man. If the video is helpful for you, make sure to like the video and subscribe our channel. Thank you.